The group stages for the 2027 Rugby World Cup have been drawn.
Do England have the easiest route to the final?
For the three-peat, South Africa will have to do it the hard way.
And can Ireland finally overcome their quarter-final curse?
We'll be running you through the new format, reacting to the groups, and predicting the entire tournament. The countdown is on. Now, just before we get into this episode, it's December and Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're anything like me, you probably haven't even started your shopping yet. Though I asked my kids what they wanted and they basically said, one of them said he wants a Big Mac in bed. But that's might be a bit of a struggle, but we'll see what I can do. But anyway, if you are struggling for gifts, I've got an idea for you. What you really need to do is get your loved one a pair of tickets to the For Love of Rugby Live.
Yes, we are on tour in 2026. And the first two events of a course are over the Six Nations. They're two specials in February. One is in Edinburgh and the other is in London. Get your tickets today. The link is in our bio.
And our Pink Friday sale was such a huge success. And loads of people got such a bargain buying 2 tickets for the price of 2 tickets. We're going to extend it. We're going to extend our Pink Friday sale, so you get 2 tickets for the price of 2 tickets, or 4 tickets for the price of 4 tickets, which means it's the perfect Christmas gift.
Long live Pink Friday. Right, let's get into it. The group stage of the 2027 World Cup has been drawn. Coley, it's a bit of a change of format. Can you run the listeners through it, please?
The tournament's been expanded from 20 teams to 24, and they're going to be split into 6 groups of 4. So you play 3 group games, and then there's going to be a new round, which is the first knockout stage, which is a round of 16. The winner and second in every group goes through, as will the 4 best third place teams. They will also progress. And those 4 teams will be determined by the competition points firstly, and then if that doesn't separate the sides, then points difference and try difference will be the next factors used respectively to determine which teams make it out of the pool stage. Does that make sense, Ben?
That does make sense, Coley. And I'm going to run you through all the pools. So in Pool A is New Zealand, Australia, Chile, Hong Kong, China.
Pool B is South Africa, Italy, Georgia and Romania.
And in Pool C is Argentina, Fiji, Spain and Canada.
Pool D is Ireland, Scotland, Uruguay and Portugal.
And in Pool E is France, Japan, USA and Samoa.
And finally, in Pool F, we have England, Wales, Tonga and Zimbabwe.
Right, well, we should try and predict the tournament then.
Right, Ben, I know that your predictions have been genuinely terrible, but we are going to try and predict the entire World Cup tournament. However, to save on people listening, we're not going to do individual scores of games, all right? I think I will read the fixture list off. We'll pick a winner. Do they get a bonus point or a losing bonus point? And then magically, we will tally this up. And someone that's not me will have this on the group stage and then we could work it all out, okay?
Sounds good.
Group A, you got New Zealand, Australia, Chile, and Hong Kong, China. Off the top of your head, quickly. New Zealand, Australia.
Australia win the opening game. They beat New Zealand.
Are you taking the mick?
No.
All right, okay.
I'm dead serious, mate. I'm dead serious.
All right, then. I know your predictions with Australian teams have gone, you're currently 0 for 2. So, right, okay.
I do.
If Australia win, what's are they going to win with a bonus point, or is New Zealand going to get a losing bonus point, or what?
Mate, Australia will win, and they will win without a bonus point, but they will win. Opening game in Australia, get their World Cup campaign underway. They'll beat New Zealand.
And will New Zealand get a losing bonus point?
Yes, they will.
Just 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Okay. Chile versus Hong Kong.
Chile get 5 points out of the game. Hong Kong, China get 0 out of the game.
So you're saying Chile are topping that group after round 1. Okay. New Zealand, Chile.
New Zealand 5, Chile 0.
Australia, Hong Kong, China.
Australia 5, Hong Kong, China 0.
Yeah, and New Zealand versus Hong Kong. I think it's probably 5-0.
Correct.
And Australia, Chile, I think it's probably also a 5-0. No, we'll go 5-1.
You go 5-1. Okay.
So Australia will top the group with 14 points. New Zealand are runners up with 11. And then Chile, by beating Hong Kong and picking them a losing bonus point, are on 6 points.
Right, Coley. This time I shall read out the fixtures and you give me the answer, please. I will interject if I feel differently. So, Pool B, South Africa, Italy, Georgia, Romania. South Africa versus Italy.
South Africa 5, Italy 0.
Georgia versus Romania.
Georgia 4, Romania 1.
South Africa versus Georgia.
5-0.
Italy versus Romania.
I'm going to say 5-0 again.
South Africa versus Romania.
5-0.
And Italy versus Georgia.
I'm going to say 4-1.
All right. So, topping Pool B will be South Africa with 15 points. Italy will come second with 9 points. In third will be Georgia with 5 points, and last will be Romania with 1 point.
In Group C, we have Argentina, Fiji, Spain, and Canada. So Argentina versus Fiji.
Argentina will get 5 points out of that game, and Fiji will get 2.
Spain versus Canada.
Spain will win this with 5 points, and Canada will have 0.
Interesting that, Ben. Argentina versus Spain.
5-0.
Fiji, Canada.
Fiji, Canada will be 5-0.
Argentina, Canada.
Will be 5-0.
Fiji, Spain.
Fiji, Spain will be 5-1.
So Argentina top the group with 15. Fiji would be second with 12, followed by Spain, who are going to get 6 points, according to your predictions, and Canada, who leave the tournament with 0 points.
Correct. On to Pool D. So Ireland, Scotland, Uruguay, and Portugal. First game, Ireland versus Scotland.
I'm going to say it's going to be 4-1 to Ireland.
I don't know, mate.
Neither do I. I'm just making it up.
I think Scotland could win that.
They could win that.
And I'm going on the basis of Ireland another 2 years down the line than what they are now. They've had to make some changes. And Scotland, I don't know. I'm going to go with Scotland to win that.
Yeah, I think Ireland have got a very good win record against Scotland. Yeah, Scotland, we could say due one, but Scotland, as you've said in this pod, have been due one for a while. So, no, I think Ireland are a potentially better suited tournaments. I don't know. We'll have to have a fight about this next time I see
All right.
you.
Let's give them 2 points out of the game. Ireland can take the win. They'll have 4. Give Scotland 2.
Uruguay, Portugal.
I'm actually going to give this a draw, Coley. 3 points each. They both get the bonus point. I'm going to give 3 points each.
Cool. Ireland, Uruguay. I'm guessing it's going to be a 5-0.
5-0.
Scotland, Portugal.
5-0.
Ireland, Portugal.
5-0.
And Scotland, Uruguay.
5-0.
Right. So we're going to have Ireland qualifying on 14. Scotland going through with 12. Then it's going to come down to Uruguay and Portugal on the same points. But who's going to have a better points difference between the pair of them?
Portugal's going to have a better points difference.
Okay. Right. Portugal will put in the third. And we're going to put Uruguay bottom of that group.
On to Group E. France, Japan, USA, and Samoa. France versus Japan.
Well, this game is ripe for an upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be France 5, Japan 1. I think they'll score 4 tries, I think, Japan.
USA, Samoa.
Oh, I am going to say Samoa win this. It's going to be 4-1.
France, USA, 5-0, I'd say.
Yep, 5-0.
Japan, Samoa.
I might say 5-1. I reckon Samoa might get a bonus point.
France, Samoa.
5-0.
And Japan versus USA.
I think Japan will win 5-0.
Right, so topping Pool E will be France on 15. Second will be Japan with 11. Third will be Samoa on 5. And USA will be flying home, preparing for the next World Cup in 2031.
Right, finally, Pool F. We have England, Wales, Tonga, and Zimbabwe. England versus Wales, Ben.
5-1
to
England.
I don't know whether to be happy with that prediction of yours, but because yours are rubbish. Right, Tonga, Zimbabwe.
Tonga are going to win this with the bonus points, so 5-0.
England, Tonga.
England, Tonga, that will be a 5-1.
Wales, Zimbabwe.
Wales, Zimbabwe will be 5-0.
England, Zimbabwe.
Will be 5-0.
Wales, Tonga.
This will be 4-2.
So England will be on 15. Wales will have 10. Tonga will have 8 points, which I think puts them as the best third place team, and Zimbabwe will have 0. So that's our group stage. We need to spend a minute or two just putting that into our little World Cup organiser, and then after the break, we'll come back with the knockout stages, Ben. Ben, it's been an incredible year, and given as it's the season of goodwill, I found you the perfect gift. Merry Christmas.
Well, I got it in the post, Coley. Thank you very much. I opened it, and I was delighted to see that it's a lovely photo of you and me.
Ben, it's not just a photo of you and me. It's an aura frame. So I've preloaded a load of photos from this year onto it. There's loads of highlights from our year, so please have a scroll.
Right, well, here's the first photo, Coley. Me and you, on our last game. There it is. the show and slow.
Ah, yes, your infamous slow and show, Ben. I just had to put it in there.
And finally, here's a picture of us, live show, and our last ever game, Coley. After that, less than 24 hours we were recording, so appreciate that, mate. Thanks for uploading them.
I wish I could take all the credit. To be fair, I've got everyone special in my life an Aura frame for Christmas. It makes it so easy, and you can upload unlimited photos and videos. You don't want to know what I've put on the Aura frame for Anthony Watson, Ben.
I can only imagine. Well, Merry Christmas, Coley, and thank you very much.
For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.co.uk to get £35 off Aura's best-selling carve mat frames, named the top frame by The Independent, by using the promo code FTLOR at checkout. That's auraframes.co.uk, promo code FTLOR. The deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at the checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, I tell you what, Coley, that wasn't easy. Trying to work all that out. I'll be honest with you. We've calculated it, and Georgia have actually missed out due to Samoa on points difference. So do you want to read out the last round of 16 fixtures, and I shall give my prediction.
Right. Australia versus Spain.
Australia win that.
South Africa versus Tonga.
South Africa win that.
Fiji versus Wales. Traditionally a great World Cup game.
That fixture stood out straight away when we predict our last 16. That will be a game to tune in on. Fiji can always impress me. And I think the one thing in the World Cups is Fiji have longer together. They actually have a full pre-season together. All their team get together from all over the world and you get the best version of them. So Wales, of course, just under 2 years out. Tandy trying to build towards something, but I like Fiji's chances in that. I'm going to go for Fiji winning that.
Yeah, I can see that. Fiji, obviously, as you say, are a tournament team and they're great to watch. So if that does happen, I will be looking forward to watching that game. What about France versus Scotland in our next game?
France-Scotland, the fixture of the last 16. If it works out how we're predicting it to do, Coley, that is a game that could be very, very good. France and Scotland, the way that Scotland play, they often test France a lot more than maybe other teams do. You know, when you think about the way that they move the ball and everything like that, France finds Scotland they're almost like a frustrating team to play against. And they're expansive against the French. The French don't necessarily like it. However, I do think, all being said and done, France are in a really good position. I think, as we lead towards the World Cup, the team they're going to get, providing they stay fit, especially with your great Antoine Dupont and other players, I do see France having enough. But playing Scotland in a one-off game, if it's a dry track and everything like that, and all the expectations on you, I could see how that could be quite a difficult fixture for them.
France probably have the star quality, but Scotland are probably the cohesive team. So yeah, I can see that'll be another game that you want to watch. I'd say France win, but it'll be a tight game, I predict. Yeah,
France win, but a decent game. New Zealand versus Japan.
I think this will be New Zealand will win. I think it'll be an entertaining game, one for people who love ball in hand rugby.
It has made me think though, Coley. Obviously, I tipped Australia to beat New Zealand that first game in our prediction. However, if New Zealand do win that, which isn't unimaginable at all, then you could have a situation where, of course, Australia play Japan and Eddie Jones is back in Australian soil in a knockout game against Australia. So, and I think that is likely to happen.
For the tournament and the views and the eyes on the thing, that would be definite drama that would, bring intrigue and interest that for the round of 16, yeah.
Now, we haven't predicted for that fixture to unfold, of course. It is New Zealand versus Japan, but it would be great for the tournament, as you say, Coley, if I get my prediction wrong and Australia end up playing Japan in the last 16. However, New Zealand versus Japan, New Zealand win that. On to England versus Italy in the last 16.
I think England will win that.
Argentina versus Chile.
The Battle of South America, I think this will be an incredibly passionate game. Two countries that, apparently aren't best of friends, but I think Argentina will win that game.
The only thing after that game, can you imagine the emotional dump after in terms of just like absolute fatigue because the anthems, two South American teams going at it. Like you need afterwards, it would be like, boys, you need to calm down and everything like that. That could be chaos. But Argentina win that, and then Ireland versus Samoa.
I think Ireland will win that game. One thing I will say about the round of 16, if you look at it, like an Ireland Samoa and an England Italy, and even France Scotland, like those teams probably going to get they'll be tested in tight games, so actually become a bit more battle hardened. Whereas say Australia potentially versus Spain or Argentina, Chile, those teams maybe not be as tested as hard. You know what I mean?
And that's the bit we spoke about at the beginning, isn't it? It's about peaking at the right times. And some of that is having like battle hardened and hard fixtures where it's almost you cruise through a certain games and then the big game comes and you're a little bit off the pace and you're not used to that intensity. And as you say, I think, Ireland versus Samoa, that'll be a physical encounter. England versus Italy. I think Italy, like I said, they're all right, Italy. There's nothing wrong with them. That'll be a tough game. France versus Scotland, that will be definitely. And Fiji, Wales. So, South Africa, Tonga, that will be physical for about 20 minutes, but then South Africa will just completely overpower them. So you're right that there is within that. But what it does shape up is when you then go to the next round, of course, the quarterfinals. Now you look at it and you think, okay, now this is exciting. This is when we think of World Cups. This is what we want.
Yes, it is. So the quarterfinals we have, and I want your result as well, please, Ben. Australia versus Africa.
Australia versus South Africa. South Africa win. But the game is a mega. The game's mega. It's on Australia's soil. The crowd's going nuts. Backs against the wall. And they run them close, but South Africa win.
If the tournament unfolds this way, yes, I think Australia versus Africa, they'd have to have the game in like the MCG, or they'd have to sort of fix it so, the Australia get like a massive fixture, because that would be probably you'd say one of the, looking at our fixtures, it's one of two big games in the quarterfinals, not one or two big games. I think, yes, if you went Australia, South Africa, you'd have to somehow fix it so that game was played like the MCG, or it's become like a massive event, or because I think that is, again, Australia in a home World Cup, South Africa being the team they are, you'd want all eyes on that.
Also, Colin, we know what it's like when you play in a home World Cup. There's a lot of pressure on you as the home nation. And weirdly, if you played South Africa in the quarterfinals, a lot of that pressure is gone because all the pressure's on them to beat you. It's no one's expecting you to go and win that game. So weirdly, if that does end up being the case, is for Australia, it's actually, they can attack that week very similar to how we attacked, 2019 against New Zealand. It's, all the pressure's on that team. You just got to go out and nail your game plan. Now, I still think South Africa are by far a better team, but it just shows you that Australia could just have a free swing at that one, and you never know.
Remember when Australia played South Africa in the Rugby Championship, and Australia were a team that basically, South Africa were probably the dominant side, but made a lot of mistakes and got loose, and Australia picked up the balls and ended up beating them. So, if South Africa if South Africa haven't been tested by Italy, Georgia, Romania, and, in their quarterfinal against Tonga, you might find, I don't think they will, but, in an alternate universe, they might get a bit loose and the game sort of somehow, the ball bounces Australia's way. But yeah, that'll be a fascinating game no matter what.
On to Fiji versus France.
Again, it could be a really interesting game played at 8 o'clock at night in Australia or something like that under the lights. But I think France would win. But I think Fiji, they are a team that does well in tournaments, and that could be incredibly close.
Yeah, they obviously played recently, and France found Fiji tricky, as every team does. Fiji, as we mentioned before, do not underestimate them. There'll be loads of Fiji fans in Australia as well. The place will be rocking. A lot of teams or fans, Fiji seems to be every nation's sort of favourite second team, don't they? Certainly when I watch Fiji, I love watching Fiji. However, I think France will have enough, but I think that will actually be a cracking quarterfinal. So France win that one.
Yes, and on to the next quarterfinal. New Zealand versus England.
Oh, how good would that be? So it's either going to be England versus New Zealand, or it's going to be England versus Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
But due to my prediction and the way that I've done the results, New Zealand versus England, I'm going to go for an England win.
Nice. Very patriotic. I agree. That could be, again, whether New Zealand win this group stage or finish second like we've predicted them, or Ben's predicted them. There's going to be England-New Zealand. It could be a very juicy affair. So it was always great games between the two of them. But yeah, I think England in tournament mode will be good. So back in that. Finally, Argentina-Ireland. Another potential classic game.
It is, but remember, it is a quarterfinal, which means Argentina win it.
Argentina, again, they finished fourth in the world last year, and they have a history of getting results at tournaments, don't they? World Cup, even dating back to like '07 and those kind of tournaments. They're always that team that is incredibly tough to play against. And yeah, I believe I can see Argentina win that game.
Yeah, and when you obviously Ireland have this psychological barrier when it comes to quarterfinals, and I just think the way Argentina are building and the way I'm looking at it from obviously just under 2 years out, and I look at where both teams sit at the moment as we build towards that. Who do I look at and think actually? No, that they're building towards, and the other team is almost tipping the other way. And I do believe that Ireland are at this real stick or twist moment with a lot of players, and I'm not quite sure. And I think, maybe if we did this post Six Nations, we'll probably have a better idea of Ireland and what they're doing. But at the moment, I'm really quite unsure. So yeah, I'm going to go for an Argentina win in that game.
Nice. Well, that gives us onto the semi-finals. South Africa versus France.
The rematch. Now, I feel like South Africa have scarred France, not only in 23, but scarred them recently in the Autumn Nations series. And I don't know when they next play each other. I'm not sure they actually do. The next time they could meet could be in a World Cup semi-final. And I think that South Africa just have the psychological edge over France. Now, the big thing for me is the South Africa that we see at the moment is how many of those guys will be there in 2 years' time. Yes, they've got a lot of depth. Yes, they're bringing youngsters through, but they've also got a huge amount of leadership group, a huge amount of experience that could very, very much be their last tournament, or the last sort of time wearing the Springboks jersey during that campaign. And where does that situate? Do they have injuries? What does it all look like? But I just think the psychological damage that South Africa have done over France in 23 in the recent game, and if they don't play between now and then, and France don't get over the hurdle of beating South Africa, then I don't see South Africa losing to France in a semi-final. I think it's a hurdle that France psychologically cannot get over.
Right. What about England, Argentina?
England win that. And I think that when I look at it, I like where England are heading. And they're on the right side of the draw. They're going to play Argentina. I think, again, to be fair, it's very similar to what I've just said about France. I think there is a psychological barrier for Argentina overcoming England as well. And I think England just have that advantage over Argentina at the moment, where they seem to have the game plan or have the run of results that seems to be able to beat Argentina regularly. And
England just roll out George Ford for a drop goal in that game.
Well, that as well. I think when you look at it, as well, I just think England should have enough to beat an Argentinian team, which would mean, Coley, for the third, fourth playoff would be France versus Argentina, and for the grand final would be South Africa versus England.
It would, Ben. It would be a very juicy final weekend. I think bronze, we go France, Argentina. This is going to be a tough game because I think we played in the bronze final last World Cup, and you basically, the emotional dump. You want to finish the tournament on a high, but at the same time, you've been knocked out of World Cup. You've not achieved what you've set out to do. And yeah, it'll be, I could see an Argentina winning that on the basis of they've kind of been there before, and we played them previously and they were properly revved up for the third place playoff. So, whereas I could say maybe the French team are, if they're not going to win it, they're not bothered. So without being too coarse, I think Argentina could win that.
I do think if France do end up playing South Africa in a semi-final, I do think if France win that game, they go on and win the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's like such a momentum that they just, if you beat the box, whoever beats the box, I feel like it gives you such a boost and catapults the rest of your tournament.
But then if we go back to, say, like us in 2019, we beat New Zealand in the semi, and then we probably we got pumped in the final because we probably emotionally, sort of were geared up for New Zealand and getting over that hurdle. And we know Eddie Jones' history with New Zealand, as in like Australia in 03, all that kind of stuff. Like maybe France finally overcome that emotional hurdle against Africa, but then in the final, they might not have it. Yeah,
good point. It's all... We've experienced it, Coley. We have experienced it, mate. So, right, bronze final, you're going to go for Argentina to win. I think that fixtures, we've been there, we've played in that. It's a tough fixture to play. I think at that point, it's it's sort of you haven't set up and got what you wanted to do, and you kind of just want the tournament to end at that point because you feel like you're falling short. So Argentina win that. On to the final, South Africa versus England.
No, I don't want to do this. Can we go to an advert break?
Yeah, let's go to an ad break. This episode is brought to you by ITV's Champions Full Gallop. So, Coley, you know you now got a proper real-life job.
Yes, I do, Ben.
I'm thinking of embarking on a new career myself.
That's great. I'm really happy for you. Bit of coaching, punditry, becoming an agent.
No. I'm honestly going to become a jockey.
A jockey, Ben?
I'm serious. I've been watching a new series called Champions Full Gallop. It's a documentary on ITV, and I reckon I got what it takes.
I'm yet to be convinced, but I'd love to see you try.
Well, give it a watch and tell me what you think. It is an amazing series, giving unprecedented access and capturing the drama and the high stakes of the sport. It follows the most recent jump season, featuring the Cheltenham Festival, the Grand National Festival, and loads more.
That does look great, to be fair. I'll give it a watch. I'm still not convinced you've got the perfect attributes to be a jockey, though, Ben.
Don't be jealous, mate. Champions Full Gallop Series 2 is now airing on ITV1 every Friday at 10:45pm. It is also available to watch on ITVX. Who knows? I might even be in Series 3.
Oh, I don't want to do this, Ben. I don't want to make it. My heart says England. My head says Africa. It'll be a hell of a final, hopefully. Just trying to think of our 2019 final that wasn't a hell of a final. So, if that's the World Cup final, as a biased Englishman, I'd want England to win.
Well, I have a horrendous track record when it comes to predicting. And often what I do say, the opposite happens. So therefore...
Not often, I think pretty much all the time.
I would say 90% of the time I'm wrong and the opposite happens when it comes to predictions. So therefore I'm going to go South Africa win. South Africa win, they beat England and they win the World Cup 3 times in a row. In the hope that obviously my prediction, I've now cursed them and England win.
That's incredibly smart of you, because if South Africa win, you look smart. And if you curse them, England win. So that's, as former England players. That's
you like what I've done there, don't you?
You're smarter than you look, Ben.
Correct. A selfless act there from me to go against my heart and predict South Africa, knowing that I've now just given them the kiss of death.
I'm sure South Africa are gutted to hear your prediction, Ben. For the love of rugby's World Cup prediction, it can only go badly for us. It can only make us look like idiots. It comes up in 2 years' time, how bad we've done. Yeah, it's fine. Just remember this. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, everyone. But if you want to leave a comment down below on what we got right, what we got wrong, what you think we got right and what you think we got wrong, feel free. I'm sure there'll be plenty of fans out there who totally differ from our opinions.
Fun exercise, ages till the World Cup, Coley, and we will look back and I'm sure we'll have a laugh about how we did this and what we thought was going to happen, because it never works out that way. But good fun.